responder with its lights on. So it's just taking me back to those days before HD. But the bottom line is no crash, so that's some good news. And it's kind of a lazy holiday on the roads.
I'm Brett Matschke, and you're due for service.
Richlawn's Tire and Service Centers. 5 locations and all easy to find. Visit richlawns.com when you're due for service.
Mild temperatures continue today. A light wintry mix potentially to the south, a high of 40 degrees, mainly cloudy skies. Cloudy and flurries tonight with a low of 27. Partly cloudy, flurries early and a high of 31. High of just 30 degrees on Thursday, just 24 on Friday. 36 and a little bit of a wintry mix here falling downtown in Milwaukee, approaching 11:08.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
So do you remember the first time watching HD TV? You remember the first time you really settled in and was like, whoa, what is this? This is crazy.
I don't know if I remember the first time watching it, but I do remember when it was all happening, and I was working in the Quad Cities at the time, right on the Mississippi River, Iowa and Illinois, and we were the first TV station to go HD, and it was a huge deal because the competition was going to do it first, but then we snuck in and we knew we were going to do it, and every single sign-off had to be, can it be QC? HD TV 6 or something like that. And then you had to get in that frame of mind to say that all the time, and then it was a big deal. And then, years later, you take away that HD because it's just the way it is now.
Exactly. I remember being at Radio City, and I think it was, I want to say the 2008 Olympics, maybe the Summer Games.
That sounds about right.
It might have been the previous Winter Games where they first explored it, because I think 2008 was the first games they ever did fully in HD. But I remember, this TV they rolled in, they literally had to be wheeled in. It was massive and weighed a metric ton. But there it was. You could watch Olympic events in HD. And in a previous life, I remember setting up an HD village at an event I did when I worked for a marketing company to show the Masters in HD. And did the people line up to see a glimpse of Augusta National in stunning high definition. That was crazy.
Wow, that was beautiful. And if people miss my traffic report, they're like, wait, what year are we going into? They're talking about just going into HD?
Well, we are certainly looking ahead. We live in a 4K, probably 5 or 6K world by the time we get done with the next year or two. And some big stories that we're following on this, the final day of the calendar year 2024.
And now it's time for 3 Big Things on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Number 1, Happy New Year! The New Year already celebrated in many places like Asia and Australia, and happening right now, much of Indonesia, Thailand, and Vietnam also celebrating. But as 2025 sweeps around the globe, the crowds will start to gather at New York's Times Square. Viewing areas officially open, let's see here, a little less than 3 hours now. CBS's Nikki Batiste reports on the security preps.
Long before the clock strikes midnight and the confetti drops, the New York Police Department is hard at work keeping those celebrating safe.
It'll be busy here. Yes, it'll be. We've got, some 70,000 networked cameras.
It's here in the Joint Command Center where the New York Police Department is monitoring thousands of resources deployed across the city, ready to detect threats from guns to radiation.
Coming up at 11:15, we'll check in with a reporter in New York City right now, learn about the security efforts you can't see, why hundreds of police rookies are involved, and why there are no garbage cans to be found.
Number 2, the FBI urging the NFL, NBA, NHL, and Major League Baseball to put their players on alert after a string of high-profile burglaries targeting the homes of professional athletes. This continues.
In the past 4 months, at least 10 pro athletes, most recently Luka Doncic of the Dallas Mavericks on Christmas Day, were victims of home burglaries. The FBI says South American criminal organizations are responsible for at least some of the break-ins. It's urging celebrities to refrain from posting pictures of their valuables and the interiors of their homes on social media.
ABC's Jim Ryan. So athletes' homes are targeted. There's a perception, of course, that you might find some high-end goods, designer handbags, jewelry, watches, maybe some cash laying around. And the FBI believes organized theft groups from South America are actually behind all this, and are very sophisticated, conducting surveillance ahead of time to prepare for those burglaries. How do you get in? When is the athlete going to be gone? Is there anybody else at the house that they think it's very highly organized, that it's not a coincidence?
I do look at social media feeds differently in the wake of this. When I see like Giannis doing his thing, I'm like, okay, you have a different eye on things because you really can. You can see if they're in their house, they're doing this and what they have. And that's what some people are looking to capitalize on. Number 3, plans are now in place for the goodbyes to late President Jimmy Carter. Carter's remains will be moved on Saturday, passing by his boyhood home and taken to Atlanta. The public will have a chance for a viewing at the state capitol as well as the Carter Center. More now from ABC's Steve Osunsami.
Then his remains are off to Washington, D.C. for a public visitation at the U.S. Capitol. And then finally, next week, Thursday, the state funeral at the National Cathedral. President Joe Biden will deliver the eulogy.
Carter died on Sunday at the age of 100. He'll be buried in Plains, Georgia, right next to his wife.
Well, it is New Year's 2025 in some portions of the world. Big preparations, of course, in New York City and Times Square. How do you go about securing an area where you expect about 1 million people to show up? Stuff you see, stuff you don't see. We'll go behind the scenes with Josh Margolin, investigative reporter for ABC. He is actually on the ground. He is in Times Square. He'll join us after this.
Happy New Year!
Tony Drake here from Drake & Associates. Big news. Our retirement-ready radio show is moving to a new time slot. Catch us at noon every Saturday. At Drake & Associates, we craft tailor-made plans that not only meet your financial needs, but align seamlessly with your unique lifestyle. Tune in at noon on Saturdays and get retirement ready.
Drake & Associates, LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates, LLC does not provide legal or tax advice.
Ooh, how about ringing in the new year with some pizza? Make it a Palermo's night. Keep it easy. Keep it delicious while you're hanging out, wherever you're hanging out. Maybe you're bringing Palermo's to wherever you're going. That's a good idea. It's Palermo's, Connie's, Urban Pie, Screamin' Sicilian, Primo Thin. You name it, they got a slice for every appetite. And the best part about Palermo's, not only does it taste great, it's fantastic, but made right here in Wisconsin, celebrating its 60th anniversary. That is right. That is decade upon decade of doing it the right way, making the best frozen pizza you are going to find. Still time to stop off at the store before your gathering this evening, wherever it is. Stop off at Festival Foods, Pick and Save, Sendik's, Piggly Wiggly, Woodman's, wherever you go, you're going to find Palermo's. It is Wisconsin's hometown pizza. Load up the freezer, pop one in the oven tonight. Have yourself a great New Year's with Palermo's, Wisconsin's hometown pizza.
Save on your next project at Menards. Find your style with our great selection from Patriot Lighting. Ceiling lights add atmosphere and style to any space. We have a variety of styles and finishes. Choose from a range of color temperature options to create the perfect ambience for any occasion. A Bandar flush mount ceiling light is $24.99, good through December 31st. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
America is kept safe because the Army National Guard responds, protects, and supports our nation when it needs them most. The Army National Guard responds to disasters such as wildfires and floods. They protect us with missile defense, cybersecurity, and civilian support teams for chemical, biological, and radiological hazards. Be there for your community and your country. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Mild temperatures, but a little bit of rain, maybe some snow flurries falling today. A high of 40 degrees, mainly cloudy skies. You'll have an overnight low of about 30. We struggled to get above 30 on Wednesday. High of just 29 on Thursday. High of just 24 on Friday. So some colder temperatures going to settle in here once we get into the evening hours, and they'll hang out through the weekend. Right now in Milwaukee, it's 38, cloudy, and some stuff falling from the sky at 11:16. Well, anybody who knows me well knows I am fascinated with events. Just the whole construction and execution of a big, large-scale event is something I'm just very much interested in. And when it comes to big-scale events today, specifically, boy, all eyes on New York City as their preparations are long underway in a variety of different areas for tonight's New Year's Eve celebration. Don't bring booze. Don't bring a bunch of stuff. Yes, bathrooms are going to be hard to find. That's for the patrons on site. But what about security and people sort of blending in to make sure this area is safe? Just how comprehensive a plan do you have to have in place? Wanted to welcome in Josh Margolin, ABC investigative reporter. Josh, thank you for joining us here today.
Hey, good morning. Happy New Year.
So how do you start, right? Months in advance, I'm sure, but how do you start? This is New York City. This is Times Square. This is a million people, all eyes on New York.
Well, the first thing they do is they shut things down, right? So this is Times Square, but anybody that knows Times Square knows that it's constantly 24/7 a bustle of traffic and congestion and pedestrians.
Yes.
It's not that, right? So 3 o'clock this morning, they started putting the street closures into place. So you cannot walk into Times Square or drive into Times Square right now. And those street closures, the frozen zones, will expand like an amoeba throughout the course of the next hours. And so everything is frozen, everything is locked down. They're bringing in, huge blocking vehicles like garbage trucks and dump trucks full of sand to block off the access points. When you look at it like a crisscross, like a puzzle overhead, and then at 3 o'clock they will start letting revelers in. They will go through metal detectors, and they will be directed to assigned places where they have to hang out or they get to hang out for the 9 hours. So the key is the frozen zone, so there's control over who's coming and going. Obviously, they don't know exactly who the individuals are, but they can control that anybody that's gotten in to the zone of the party has gone through a metal detector. There's no cars. Then on top of that, you have the overlay of what the police do. So you have thousands of New York City cops in uniform all over the place. And that is real. That also deters anybody from doing anything. And that also makes people feel comfortable that there are cops around. And then you have hundreds to thousands of cops who are going to be fanned out throughout the crowd and the outer periphery in plain clothes. So you don't know if the person next to you is just some dude hanging out or a cop. And there's safety and security in that, because if, God forbid, you are somebody who is determined to do something, say, at a metal detector to attack cops like we had a couple of years ago, that guy next to you, who may actually be a plainclothes cop, is going to take you out. And that's the thing. And then they have the high tech. They have the anti-drone measures that are in place, because obviously it's a frozen area overhead. There are authorized drones that are part of the festivities, but any unauthorized drones, they will be able to detect who those are, because nothing else is supposed to be flying in that area. And then we have, Times Square for, how these events look, and people who are familiar with New York City, Times Square is basically a valley in the middle of all these mountains of skyscrapers. And so you have police that are part of the skyscraper patrols, and they are going through all the time, and they've been doing it for days already, going up and down with security at the various hotels and buildings to make sure that nobody who's not authorized has access to those elevated positions.
So, Josh, there are a lot of security layers that people can actually see. You mentioned the dump trucks. There's bomb-sniffing dogs as another example. You did mention some of the things that they can't see as far as plainclothes officers. Well, you can see the officers, but you don't know that they're police. But what are some of the other security efforts people might not realize have already been done?
If you want to throw out your trash, whatever you bring with you, you can't find the garbage can. That's an important security measure. Think about it, just the logic. I mean, I don't want to give people ideas if they want to do something, but you see this in the movies all the time. Somebody wants to throw some sort of explosive device into a garbage can. There are no garbage cans to do that, because they remove all of them. The manhole covers. In New York City, manhole covers, they need them. It's obviously important in any city, but especially a city with a subway system like you have in New York, and you have all the underground utilities. The manhole covers, they are welded shut in advance. They can be reopened, obviously, but they're welded shut. So those kinds of things. Underground, obviously, Times Square is not only an above-ground location, it's the most important juncture point in the city for all the subways underground. But they can't shut the subway systems down. So there's an army of cops down below in the subways. And then there's all sorts of other things that you always have. We just saw this with the manhunt after the CEO killing in Midtown. There are license plate readers and security cameras all over New York City, and those things never stop working. So we've been, at ABC, we've been downtown at the command center for the camera system, the camera network. It's remarkable. They can pinpoint, they can say they want to take a look at that person in that red jacket at that intersection on, say, 52nd and 6th. And they will zoom in, and within a fraction of a second, they're going to see that guy Josh in the red jacket at 52nd and 6th.
Love that. What's the deal with these rookie cops, too? I hear that hundreds of rookie cops still in training are involved in security.
Well, part of security is making people realize that there is security. There's a deterrent factor. It's not just for show. People complain about that. But it's a deterrent factor. If you are somebody who wants to commit an act of violence or commit a crime, are you more or less likely to do it in front of a cop with a gun and a badge? Probably less likely. That's the logic. So if you have, what they do is they take the rookies and the trainees from the academy. In New York City, there are constantly rookies and training classes at the academy. They will take them out. They'll give them limited assignments. We're not talking about people who are going to be who are doing SWAT activities, because they're not ready for that yet.
Right.
But they'll be out there as part of this show of force. And the show of force is meant to be a deterrent, and it's a force multiplier. So that way, if anything does happen, there are people out there who can spot people, who can look at locations, who can react, who can run, all the things that you see in the movies.
Josh Margolin, ABC Chief Investigative Reporter. What time do you head in, Josh? Are you going to be there for the ball drop? Is this your scene tonight?
I have to say I am going to be there, but I don't know that I would be there if I were not a reporter.
Okay.
I don't know that I could go 9 hours without a bathroom. I'm sorry to say. I'm an old guy.
Is it going to rain?
Yeah, I will be there. It's going to rain. It's not going to be torrential.
Okay.
And we've been there in the past. It's also not going to be bitter cold. That actually is the biggest problem, the bitter cold. A few years ago, before the pandemic, there was like a polar vortex episode. And they were actually telling us they did not know how they were going to get EMTs and ambulances through the crowds in case anybody really, really got sick. It turned out nobody got sick, and they deployed heaters at various places throughout, and they asked people to be really mindful of their friends, because you can get really, really sick in the cold. You can die in the cold. And so that's really the worst. So it's going to be a little bit on and off rain, a little bit of drizzle, a little bit of mist. It's not going to be ideal, but it's not going to be the worst, and everybody's getting excited. I will go in later today. I'm not waiting online at 3 o'clock, I have to say. There are certain things that come. The downside is I have to work. The upside is that I don't have to wait online at 3 o'clock.
Well, we will be waving to you through our TV screen as I'm sipping a bourbon tonight about midnight. We appreciate it, Josh. Thanks so much for joining us. Be safe tonight.
Thanks, Josh.
Happy New Year.
One of our fans from the 262 just wrote in and said the worst thing about the Times Square New Year's Eve experience, this person did it with their high school kids in 2011, was that you have to get security screened to be then admitted to the pen as early as 3 p.m., which is interesting because I was looking at that time earlier today to see when you can officially go in. And yes, bingo, that is the time. And then once in, there's absolutely no access to any type of bathroom, even porta-johns. And remember before the show, Greg, we were talking about that, saying that's the worst part. Like, what do you do?
Well, and then just lump in the idea that it could be raining on you, and it's never going to be that warm. You totally get it. So you got to be bundled up, prepared, and I don't know. There was a time in my life where I looked at that and said, man, that'd be cool to be at. A bucket list kind of thing. And boy, that couldn't be further from the truth at this point. I had no interest in being out in all that. I like a celebration on New Year's. That seems to be a bit much.
I think if you could be on the rooftop of a hotel in
There
Times
you go.
Square and there's a little, one of those outdoor fires and you could be wrapped up in a furry blanket of some sort. I think that sounds nice, but yeah.
Access to a bathroom, the drink of your choice, right? People you'd like to be around. It just seems like a big mess.
Yeah, the fan from the 262 says there's almost no place to go because even open restaurants and businesses aren't legally required to have restrooms, even for paying patrons.
Well, whatever you do tonight, we hope you have a great time doing it. It's 11:26. News is coming up after this.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix It Show with David Nason, featuring great tips on how to operate your home. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact NX Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at nxwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
Well, if you're watching the celebrations tonight, maybe you want to do it on a TV that's got a little better resolution, a little better sound, a little bigger screen. Maybe, just maybe. If so, it's a contact with Flanders Home Entertainment. Get in contact with the folks at Flanders, and they will help you out if you want to watch tonight's celebration. Or maybe a movie night or the big game. Whatever it is, you look for that technology upgrade, you connect with Flanders, and they help guide you through the process. Decade upon decade of doing it the right way here in Wisconsin. Solutions, installation experts, all right there at Flanders, where quality and service, the best brands, all top priorities. Guaranteed best prices as well. You stop by Flanders in West Dallas. You stop by their showroom in Grafton. You can do some online shopping at Flanders.com. Big stuff, small stuff. The right cables to the 100-inch TVs. Whatever you're looking for, connect with Flanders. It is sound advice at the best price. Flanders Home Entertainment. Just press play.
I thought you were on vacation.
I am.
At Penny Mustard?
Specifically, the Miles sofa at Penny Mustard.
It is super comfy.
That's an understatement.
Built just the way you want it.
Sounds nice.
So you're really vacationing on the Miles sofa?
I'll send you a postcard. Wish you were here. P.S. Miles says hi.
The Miles Sectional, starting at just $238 a month, with only 1 penny down and no interest till January of 2028 through January 12th at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
If you need a place for new home interior ideas, then you have to come talk to us. Our on-staff decorators know furniture, home decor, and a lot more. And they're not only creative, but also very willing to help you make great choices. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating taste come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee. Stop in often, because our inventory changes daily.
Design Exchange.
Previously, it has been gently loved. But here, you'll only find very well-conditioned premium home decor items that you likely won't find elsewhere. Distinctive furniture, unique antiques, and original art, and other tasteful home decor at a value. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at 25 to 40% off retail prices in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Hi folks, this is Hank Albert, owner of BBC Lighting. With colder weather in the forecast and no festivals to attend, our showroom is a year-round festival the whole family will enjoy. Read our reviews. Our store has it all, including the finest lighting and ceiling fans available, such as Visual Comfort, Hubbardton, Tech, and hundreds more at unbeatable prices. I guarantee it. If it's repairs or lampshades you need, we have all that too. There's also unique sports and historical items, neon lights, slot machines, and much more for sale. You'll find fun for the kids and our famous free popcorn. BBC is open Monday through Saturday and located at 20th and St. Paul Avenue near Potawatomi Casino. Stay safe and healthy, my friends.
It's 11:30. I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Tuesday, December 31st. Your top story, an unresponsive suspect leads to an investigation.
I'm Jessica Ty. Children's Hospital apologizing.
Light wintry mix going to fall today. Cloudy skies, a high of 40 degrees. Clouds and flurries tonight, a low of 27. Partly cloudy on Wednesday with flurries early and a high of 31. 36 and a rain-snow mix in Milwaukee at 11:31. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, an investigation underway after a man is found unresponsive while police have him in custody in Madison. The suspect initially taken into custody in connection with a vehicle theft on Monday. Emergency responders on scene cleared the man for transport. He was unresponsive by the time police arrived at the Dane County Jail. Officers involved have been placed on administrative leave while the State Department of Criminal Investigation handles the case.
An apology from Children's Hospital over its handling of a charity donation.
Children's Hospital says it made a mistake when it declined to accept a toy drive donation from Brecken's Blessings, a nonprofit focused on helping children with congenital heart disease. The nonprofit speculated online that it was because the word blessings can be perceived as a religious affiliation and goes against hospital policy. Now, Children's did apologize. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel says Brecken's Blessings instead donated 600 toys to Life's Connection in McGuanago. Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
As celebrators ring in 2025 tonight, Storm Team 4 Chief Meteorologist Brian Niznansky is expecting a typical start to the new year, according to the weather. Niznansky tells Wisconsin's Morning News weather patterns this winter will be impacted by La Nina.
That looks to ease up by springtime. It gets into, all things considered, a very typical spring pattern. We'll see how things play out, but maybe we get a couple good snowstorms here for winter on the second half of winter.
Your complete WTMJ 5-day forecast is coming up.
If the Times Square ball drop is a little stale for your New Year's Eve taste, the state of Wisconsin has you covered with some unique alternatives.
One option is the annual cheese drop in Plymouth, an apt holiday tradition for the self-described cheese capital of the world.
When you say cheese, please, you smile before you even get it out.
Mayor Dave Pullman tells WTMJ the 18th year of the tradition will draw thousands to watch the giant Sartori Bellavitano gold cheese wedge come down.
It's only fitting that we have something unique to the cheese industry.
And guests are encouraged to come donned in their favorite cheese-themed hats. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Never been there for the cheese drop, but I have gone to the cherry drop up in Door County in Sister Bay. That was fun.
There's a pickle drop in North Carolina.
Oh, I thought you were kidding about that. There's really a pickle drop?
Yeah, it's at the Mount Olive Pickles. You ever gone grocery shopping? You've seen Mount Olive Pickles?
Yeah.
They do a yearly pickle drop. This pickle at the corner of Vine and Cucumber Streets drops into a jar.
Does it drop into a jar filled with liquid? You know how if you pick up a pickle and then you accidentally drop it and then you kind of get a splash of the pickle juice?
That's a good point. I'll follow up.
Okay, thank you.
You're going to have to find some details on this. Still time to get to North Carolina if you'd like to be. It's 11:34. Sports, traffic, and
Start
weather
the new
next.
year right with Norwalk Furniture on sale now at Ken Michaels Furniture. Save 35% on showroom pieces that are ready for immediate delivery, or in just 35 days, you can create a look that reflects your unique style with over 850 fabric and leather options and comfort levels, from cuddling to extra firm support. Norwalk Furniture's American roots go back over 102 years. For better quality American-made upholstery, shop the Norwalk Upholstery Sale at any Ken Michaels Furniture locations in Greenfield, Brookfield, or downtown. Better days start with a better night's sleep on a mattress from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in Milwaukee, our mattresses are custom built to your needs. We have all the comfort and firmness options to give you your best night's rest. Buying direct from our factory showrooms will save you up to 50% compared to national brands. Shop today during our New Year's sale at Ken Michaels Furniture for over 75 years of uncompromising quality, local factory direct saving, and your best night's sleep.
Ready for a win? Well, it's your year. At Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, you could win over $2,000 in free play every month all year long. Just play your favorite games and you might take the stage in the It's Your Year game show. 25 winners each Thursday. There's $300,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs this January. Yeah, we think it's your year. More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old to play.
Eggland's Best, the only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best, better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. The Packers are 9-point favorites for Sunday's regular season finale against the Bears at Lambeau. It's the final tune-up before the postseason.
We know we got to come out and play our best ball, and everybody's got to be locked in and play the best game they've played all season. So there's no secret, we're going to have to find ways to win these games on the road.
Packers quarterback Jordan Love. Afternoon basketball for the Bucks taking on the Pacers in Indianapolis. Coverage gets underway at 2 o'clock on WTMJ. And in college basketball, 8th-ranked Marquette visits Providence tonight for a 5 o'clock tip. Hear that game on 94.5 ESPN.
Let's get you an update on the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. We do have a crash that just popped up moments after our last report. I-94 East at the ramp from Wisconsin 175 South. Right shoulder is blocked due to a crash. I was taking a peek at the video just now, and it looks like 2 cars are involved in that one. I do see an emergency responder already out there. Also, what I'm taking a note of is the backup already. There's a backup that starts, right after Hawley, going down into the city, and then loops around the ballpark right there. But once again, the crash is at I-94 East to the ramp from 175 South. Be prepared, right shoulder is blocked.
A wintry mix going to fall today, a high of 40 degrees, mainly cloudy skies, overnight low of about 30. Tomorrow we get to about 29 for a high. Looking like a high of about 24 by the time we get to the end of the week. So into the 20s once we get out of the more mild temperatures today. 36 with a rain and snow mix in Milwaukee at 11:37.
It's Tech Tuesday with ABC News technology reporter Mike Dubusky.
We're not sure if he will be a judge in the upcoming AI beauty pageant, but he is our guest every Tuesday on Tech Tuesday.
The latest and greatest in the world of tech.
Tesla's next product, they call it a robo-taxi. These are AR glasses. They're called simply the Frame.
On Wisconsin's Midday News.
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Domo.
Well, it's our final Tech Tuesday of the calendar year 2024. Time to check in with ABC News technology reporter. It's Mike Dubusky. Hey, Mike, happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys. How are you?
Yeah, doing great here. We'll get you off to that New Year's Eve celebration in Times Square before too long here. But I wanted to look back at the year that was. Obviously, tech is continuing to evolve in front of our very eyes, and in some respects take a bit of a step back in the world of electronic vehicles, to be specific. But as you look back at 2024, who are some of the big winners in the tech space in the calendar year?
Okay, so undoubtedly NVIDIA is the big winner of technology in 2024. NVIDIA is a computer processor manufacturer that has really seen its valuation skyrocket in 2024. They've actually seen it triple in the past year. In November, NVIDIA became the first company in history to surpass a $3.6 trillion valuation. And this is all because of the very powerful computer chips that they make. NVIDIA got its start in the gaming world, where you need these sort of high-intensity processors that can handle a lot of computing power. Turns out those processors are also really good at underpinning large language models and other AI technology. That's why NVIDIA has become the go-to company for companies like Meta and Amazon and others while they try to spin up their own products. A good way to think about this company is the California gold rush sort of metaphor. A lot of people who ran out to California to sift for gold didn't make a lot of money. You know who did make a lot of money? The people who sold them the picks and the shovels to do so.
Yeah.
NVIDIA is selling the picks and the shovels in the AI race. Another winner in 2024, I'm going to say the Twitter alternatives. These are the other apps that have sort of cropped up, try to take some of the energy away from Twitter. Things like Blue Sky, which recently crossed 20 million users, closing in on 25 million monthly active users. And Threads, which is Meta's take on this sort of short-form micro-blogging platform. They both launched in 2023. However, 2024 really saw them sort of solidify and become the default alternatives, if that makes sense. Threads has 300 million monthly active users.
Have you jumped
Still a
on
long way
either
to
one
go.
of those, Mike? I haven't done it yet.
I am on both. You're more than welcome to come follow me. I'm not going to call myself a very interesting poster by any stretch of the imagination. But I will say, if you're familiar with Twitter, these will feel very familiar. They kind of look and function the same way. Threads is a little harder to track conversations in, only because it's not sort of chronologically fed. But Blue Sky, I've been enjoying it. It's kind of some of the figures from Twitter who have since left Twitter under Elon Musk's ownership have gravitated over to Blue Sky. So it kind of feels like the early days of Twitter. Both, I think, pretty robust platforms and have really kind of solidified themselves as the other platform that is out there.
Maybe you've convinced me.
I mean, also, I would recommend putting the phone down after a while. Like having 3 social media microblogging platforms is kind of getting to be a little bit much. But guys, one more winner that I wanted to mention is Elon Musk, which is maybe a surprising one. Elon Musk, is facing headwinds from a whole slew of different perspectives. Tesla is facing numerous investigations. The Cybertruck has been recalled a number of times. People continue to leave Twitter, now called X, for these other platforms that we've been talking about. However, you talk to experts, political experts specifically, and they'll say Elon Musk pretty successfully leveraged X to be a platform to promote the campaign of incoming President Donald Trump. And that effort, alongside appearances at rallies and whatnot, really landed Elon Musk a seat at Mar-a-Lago, sometimes while discussions over who is going to regulate the industries his company operate in were happening. So it is a pretty undisputed win for Elon Musk, coming a little bit more than 2 years after he purchased Twitter for $44 billion.
Okay, Mike, I usually like to look on the bright side, but we have winners. That means we have losers. Who lost in the tech world in 2024?
That's true. So to continue with the artificial intelligence conversation, I'm going to say the consumer-facing AI products in 2024 were the big losers. We saw Google integrate AI overviews into Google Search, but that technology pretty quickly hallucinated, and it told people to eat rocks and put glue on pizza and all manner of things, to the point where Google actually had to roll back that technology a little bit. We also saw some startups try to get into the AI space, specifically the hardware game. I'm thinking about like Humane and Rabbit were two companies that tried to do this. However, both of the products that they launched were pretty roundly criticized when they came out for those hallucination problems, those questions of accuracy, and overall just for not being very helpful. So those left a lot to be desired, the AI hardware, AI consumer-facing products. Another one, Google. In August, a federal judge ruled that this massive tech company has to actually operates an illegal monopoly in the world of online search, and the Department of Justice wants them to sell off major parts of their business, namely Android, the cell phone operating system, and Google Chrome, the web browser. This could all change under the new incoming administration, but we will just have to wait and see. Donald Trump himself is no big fan of Google, from what we understand. So that is one of the big losers of 2024, and a story that is going to be continued in 2025. Finally, Fisker. This is an electric vehicle startup that launched an electric SUV. They sold a few of those electric SUVs called the Ocean. However, they almost immediately went bust after the cars were beset with technical issues. The company was found to be kind of mismanaged. One of the reviewing magazines, I believe it was Consumer Reports, actually found that the check they wrote to Fisker wasn't cashed. So I'm no businessman, but I would say that's the guy you don't fire, is the guy who cashes the checks. It really underscores, guys, how hard it is to build cars, especially electric vehicles, especially if you're a startup. Just another thing to keep an eye on going into 2024 is how the automotive space handles this transition over to a new propulsion system.
Yeah, we've seen many manufacturers sort of try and unveil a new all-electric lineup, then pull back from it, right? Advertising has changed quite a bit if you want to go back to last year's Super Bowl, for example, to where we are now. You've got more hybrid manufacturing going on versus strict EV, but that could certainly change. As you look ahead to 2025, Mike, let's do the little crystal ball thing here. What takes off? What takes flight? Are Apple headsets really going to be on everybody walking around the streets?
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to believe that the Vision Pro actually came out this year. It feels like that thing's been around forever. But no, that came out this year. I don't expect Apple to really follow that up this year. We haven't seen a ton of rumors about that. This is a niche product for Apple, and they're still trying to iron out the kinks, figure out what people are doing with it before they come to market with a follow-up device. Some things that I am keeping an eye on or expecting to happen in 2025 is a day of reckoning for TikTok. TikTok, obviously, this social media app that is very popular in the United States, 170 million monthly users in the U.S., they're going to have to figure out what to do when it comes to this legislation that's going to go into effect on January 19th that is going to ban the app from American app stores. The Supreme Court is set to take up the case of whether to ban that app and whether the legislation is constitutional or not. And the incoming Trump administration has asked for the Supreme Court to delay that legislation from taking effect. But nonetheless, we are going to get some more answers, some more clarity about TikTok's future in 2025. In addition, OpenAI is likely to become a for-profit company in 2025. This is something that's been rumored for a little while. They've been a nonprofit for many years now, since their inception. But given some of the hiring and firing and some of the decision-making we've seen at that company, looks like OpenAI is going to shed that nonprofit sort of ethos and become a for-profit company. So that's something to keep an eye on, how that changes how they roll out products and maybe what kind of products they roll out. In that vein, one last kind of fun one is Johnny Ive. This is the guy who designed the iPhone, designed a number of very iconic Apple products. He has a new company. It's called Love From. It's actually been around for a couple of years now. But they're a design firm headquartered in San Francisco, and we're likely to see some pretty big stuff come out of that firm in 2025. One is the interior of a new electric Ferrari that they are apparently designing. They're in charge of the interior.
Vroom, vroom.
And the other that is kind of more interesting to me is the partnership that they've forged with OpenAI. So OpenAI, again, the creators of ChatGPT, likely to become a for-profit company, they are apparently working on a hardware device for that company. So the guy who designed the iPhone is now making something for OpenAI. Possible that we see what that looks like in 2025. What it is, still unclear, but something to keep an eye on.
Johnny Ives. All right. Googling him now.
All right, Mike. Happy New Year. Thanks so much for checking in. We'll do so again as we approach 2025, into 2025, next time we chat.
Happy New Year, guys. Take care.
Happy New Year.
Join the roar of 18,000 Bucs fans at Fiserv Forum and be a part of the slam dunks, game-changing plays, and electrifying victories live. Witness the edge-of-your-seat action and unforgettable moments as they happen. You don't want to miss this. Grab your calendar, handpick your favorite matchups, and secure your seats for Dame time in Milwaukee and every incredible moment that comes next at Bucs.com/tickets. That's Bucs.com/tickets.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
Gift cards from the amazing Mineshaft restaurant in Hartford make great holiday gifts, as everyone loves a delicious breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Buy a $100 gift card and get a $20 gift card free. It's easy. Order online at mineshaftRestaurant.com.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Patrick and Monica initially chose a bank to get pre-approved and provide financing for the purchase of their first home. But they were getting a bad feeling when a week after their offer was accepted, the bank still hadn't locked in their rate, nor had the appraisal been ordered. Monica shared her concerns with a friend who happened to be a multi-time Accunet client. That led to Monica connecting with one of our senior loan consultants the same day, and after gathering some information and reviewing options, we locked in their rate right then and there with loan costs $3,600 lower than what the bank had quoted. The appraisal was ordered right away too, and the loan closed on time just 3 weeks later. We also noticed an oversight in the contract that led to a $3,000 credit from the seller. You can get a generic pre-approval and average or worse service from a bank, or you can get the kind of fast service, advice, attention to detail, and savings that made Monica and Patrick Accunet's latest raving fans. All you got to do to get started is click on the blue button at Accunet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
By now, you've probably figured out what's most important to us at Semperfi is our reputation. Building a great character-driven remodeling company is actually quite easy. It's just the first 20 years that are a bit challenging. Great companies are collections of great people, and we have great people. They're the ones that helped us build our reputation, but they only come after you've built something they want to be part of. We don't necessarily have to look for good people. They come to us. And that's what you want when you hire an exterior remodeling company. Someone who's going to stand behind their work, and a company that is truly proud of their people. And it's because they do great work. And when you're ready, we'll do great work for you too. This is Brad Youngluth with Semperfi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semperfi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semperfi!
Well, kind of a wintry mix falling right now. We'll top out about 40 degrees. Cloudy skies today. Cloudy and flurries tonight at a low of 27. Tomorrow's high just 31 degrees under partly cloudy skies. 30 the high on Thursday, just 24 and sunny on Friday. Right now in Milwaukee, it's 35 with a little wintry mix falling at 11:51.
Just a couple of hours ago, Forbes put out this new article. It's titled The U.S. Economy in 2025, Reasons for Optimism. One of the things it looks at is the stock market being at all-time highs, even though let's look at today. Yeah, everything's in the red today, but ultimately still,
sure,
the overall numbers way up. It also talks about Donald Trump's policies and the hope that the economy is going to be better with that. Bottom line is we're all hoping for a prosperous 2025, but for a moment, let's look back on the economy in 2024.
The 2024 economy was the year of the letter I. Inflation, interest rates, and investments dominated headlines. Although the rate of inflation retreated from the post-COVID peak, consumers continued to struggle with still high prices on everything from insurance to childcare to rent. Those seeking relief from the Federal Reserve had to wait until September before seeing the first interest rate cut in 4 years. Interest rates also kept the pressure on the housing market, where frustrated would-be buyers struggled with affordability. A combination of 30-year loans at 6 to 7% and low inventory kept the dream of a home purchase out of reach for many Americans. Coming into the election, investors were already enjoying double-digit returns on stocks. Those gains continued on hopes that a second Trump administration would keep taxes low and ease regulations. As the year concludes, the letter I can do a little more work. May the season inspire, illuminate, and invigorate us all. Jill Schlesinger, CBS News.
Ooh, I like that. Illuminate and invigorate.
Also, I words.
Yes, the letter I can do a little bit better in 2025. Okay. When I also look back on 2024, I just think about the election. This was an election for not only the history books, but the big screen.
Concerns about his age and mental acuity dogged the president throughout the campaign, and it all came to a head in a disastrous presidential debate.
We finally beat Medicare.
The Biden team later said the president had a cold, but calls exploded for him to drop out, culminating with his decision to endorse Vice President Harris. During her brief campaign, Harris championed abortion rights, outlined her economic plans, and cautioned against another Trump term.
Donald Trump is increasingly unhinged and unstable.
Trump ran a campaign of grievances.
Kamala Harris, a very low IQ individual.
His border security message and the promise of mass deportations also resonated.
I will stop the invasion of criminals coming into our country.
Enthusiasm grew for a youthful Harris to become the first black and first female president.
It is time for a new generation of leadership in America.
But voters, largely driven by men, handed Trump the victory. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
I think it's fair to say we will never, in our lifetimes, have an election cycle like we just went through.
It was unbelievable.
Can't
and
imagine.
I remember as we were going through it, as it was happening, if you go back to that first debate between Trump and Biden, I mean, that was the turning point. And then we just had like a new chapter after new chapter after new chapter. And I remember doing these interviews every morning with the ABC people and just thinking, what's going to happen next?
Yeah, I remember even bringing up the idea after the debate that somehow President Biden would be out and that Kamala Harris would be on the ticket. And that was met with laughs. Oh, they don't have time. They can't possibly do it. And lo and behold, look what happened. But even go back before that, if you want to go back into the earlier portion, maybe Q1, it looked like House Speaker was the worst job on the planet. Like nobody wanted to be the House Speaker. And the fractured nature of the Republican Party was very much present. I think it unified during the RNC. That was the word, the overarching word during the RNC was
right.
Getting us back together, right? It wasn't getting all of politics back together. It was getting the Republican side back together. At the time, the Democratic Party looked unified. And then everything kind of fell apart with President Biden. So they had to sort of repair themselves before the DNC. It was a wild, I would say 8 to 10 months worth of time.
You know what else was a big chorus that we heard throughout the RNC? Wow, Milwaukee. This is a great city.
Absolutely.
Over and over and over and over again. And that was awesome.
A significant win, no doubt about that, for the Midwest with the DNC, but Milwaukee specifically with the RNC. Interesting stuff. 11:56 and WTMJ News is coming up.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Saturday afternoon at 2. Join John each week as he challenges financial advice you've been given and reaffirms what you know to be true. If your financial plan doesn't include taxes, insurance, estate planning, and investing, it's incomplete and you can't afford to miss out. At Creative Planning, we provide all the expertise, all the advice you need, all in-house. To learn more, visit creativeplanning.com/radio.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik for Flanner's Home Entertainment. Check out the audio and video system in your home. Are you in need of a bit of an upgrade? We definitely are, no doubt about it. We've got some glitchy TV in the house, not liking it. One of the HDMI ports is dead. I want to watch that movie in the big game on a bigger screen, a little better resolution on a system that just works. Better picture, better sound. I know Flanner's will help me through the process. Solutions, installation experts, all right there. They will simplify and upgrade your home entertainment experience. Forget about the big box stores. They're not really there for you. There are still locally owned Flanner's. They are there for you. Quality, service, the best brands, guaranteed best prices, all top priorities for Flanner's. Stop by their showroom in West Dallas. It is gorgeous right there in West Dallas. Another one in Grafton. Shop anytime at Flanners.com. Big or small, they've got you covered. Sound advice at the best price. Just press play.
Just like most cars and trucks can't run without oil, no person can function without food. That's why through March 1st, the Auto Dealers of Metro Milwaukee is contributing $1 from every oil change to Feeding America, Eastern Wisconsin. Every dollar provides 3 healthy meals. Over the past 14 years, Adam has provided more than 2.6 million meals to people in southeast Wisconsin. And now the need is greater than ever. Find a participating Adam dealer near you at adamm.com.
Do you know or work with kids who have special healthcare needs? Help them live their best lives. Contact Wisconsin Wayfinder Children's Resource Network. Our specialists will connect you with services in your area. Wisconsin Wayfinder is free and confidential. Call 877-947-2929 or visit dhs.wi.gov/WISCWAY. Connect today. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose. And millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
We know what you're thinking, and all we can tell you is to drive careful.
Yup, Wisconsin roads are no joke this time of year, especially when you're driving on old, worn-out tires.
Schedule yourself a tire appointment with Rich Lawns. We carry all sorts of tire brands, including Goodyear, Kelly, Continental, and General, to name a few.
And every tire we install automatically comes with free tire mounting, free lifetime tire rotation, free flat tire repairs, and free alignment inspections.
Not to mention free wheel corrosion cleaning, lifetime warranty spin balance, and prorated tire protection.
Let's just say, if you're driving around town, especially this time of year on old, worn-out tires, you're due for tire service.
Courtney's right. And remember, be safe, buckle up, and hey, always make sure you have good tread on your tires, because cold, wet, icy roads are no joke. I'm Brett Matchke with Rich Lawns, and you're due for service.
Rich Lawns Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Rich Lawns.
Built Right Furniture, Leather, and Mattress.
You gotta get to Built Right today.
The Bucks are about to end the year in Indy with a shootout against the Pacers.
Lillard thought about the three. Instead passes left wing, catch and shoot three. Chris Middleton rips the cords from the left side.
Our coverage starts today at 1 with Buck Shoot Around. We are your home for the Milwaukee Bucks. News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
It's 12:01. I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News. It's Tuesday, December 31st. Your top story, a person of interest in New Lisbon remains at large.
I'm Jessica Ty. Another unique New Year's Eve celebration.
A wintry mix is falling in Milwaukee. Expect to see that little mix of snow and maybe some rain mixed in. Nothing in terms of accumulation, but something to be mindful of. High of 40 degrees. Cloudy and flurries tonight, a low of 27. More clouds on Wednesday and a high of 31. 35 degrees with a little light rain and snow falling in Milwaukee at 12:01. From the WTMJ, breaking news room, an armed and dangerous man remains on the loose connected to 3 deaths in the city of New Lisbon.
2 juveniles and an adult were found dead in a home Monday evening. The person of interest, 47-year-old Virgil Thu, is still at large. He was last seen wearing a dark-colored down coat and hat. Police say Thu is considered armed and dangerous and should not be approached if seen. Anyone with information on Thu is asked to contact the New Lisbon Police Department. David Ozzy-Scott, WTMJ News.
An investigation is underway after a man was found unresponsive while in police custody in Madison. The suspect was initially taken into custody in connection with a car theft on Monday. Emergency responders on scene cleared the man for transport, but by the time police arrived at the Dane County Jail, the man was not responding. The officers involved are now on administrative leave while the State Department of Criminal Investigation handles the case.
A team of U.S. investigators and representatives from Boeing in South Korea helping investigate Sunday's deadly airline crash, including why the concrete structure the plane slammed into was so close to the runway. ABC News foreign correspondent Britt Clennett is in Muon, South Korea.
Devastated family members wailing and clutching each other as they gather at the crash site, looking out at the wreckage. Others still processing the loss. Kim Bok-wan had 3 family members on board, including his brother Dok-wan. He tells me, "My heart aches. Every time I speak, I feel like I'll burst into tears."
179 people were killed in the crash, with only 2 survivors.
A sobering reminder that drunk driving accounts for 31% of traffic deaths every year. Police Sergeant Brooke Pataska up in La Crosse County says police departments across the country see an increase in calls this time of the year.
Slippery road conditions would obviously have more crashes is what we would see.
The number of traffic deaths linked to drunk driving goes up to nearly 40% during the holiday season. That's according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Well, if the Times Square ball drop is a little too stale for your New Year's Eve tastes, the state of Wisconsin has you covered with some unique alternatives.
If Plymouth's cheese drop isn't your style either, why not head to Sister Bay? Ladore County Village rings in their new year with the annual Cherry Drop. The event includes ice skating, a massive bonfire, and of course, the dropping of the bright red cherry at exactly midnight. The Ladore County New Year festivities then shift to Egg Harbor for a January 1st parade. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow fighting back. Now down just about 17 points at 42,556. NASDAQ off nearly 100 today at 19,393. S&P 500 down about 15 at 5892. For sound financial advice from a fee-only fiduciary, it's Annex Wealth Management. Go to annexwealth.com and click on the Get Started button today.
Will the Bucks bounce back with some afternoon basketball? We're taking a look. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Sounding Limited WTMJ News Time is coming up on 12:05.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Eric Bilstead. As we ring in 2025, are you heading into the new year with the same old joint pain? It's time to make a resolution, to get moving again. No more achy joints for your knees, your hips, shoulders, or your back. You're going to call QC Kinetics in 2025, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine and joint preservation. Got locations in Greenfield and Mequon under the leadership of Medical Director Dr. Ashley Caravelli. Yes, you can revitalize your joints with advanced orthobiologic treatments at QC Kinetics. No steroids, no drugs, no surgery. This is the future of medicine using an array of natural solutions. So many of your neighbors here in Milwaukee are living life again without the constant pain in their joints. Here's what you do. Resolve to get lasting relief in 2025. Call QC Kinetics today, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics today. Happy New Year.
Ready for a win? Well, it's your year. At Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, you can win over $2,000 in free play every month all year long. Just play your favorite games and you might take the stage in the It's Your Year game show. 25 winners each Thursday. There's $300,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs this January. Yeah, we think it's your year. More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old to play.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselist.
Your stores are employee-free?
Yes, sir.
Why?
To save you money.
How much money?
Our 40 beds from the top 5 brands start at $393.
That's pretty good.
Plus, through Monday, purchase a select Beauty Rest, Sealy Posturepedic, or Serta Perfect sleeper in any size, and Hasselist will give you a free adjustable base, free next-day delivery, and free financing is available too.
I like the way you do business.
Get all the details and find an employee-free showroom near you at Hasselist.com.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. The Packers 9-point favorites for Sunday's regular season finale against the Bears. The final tune-up for Jordan Love and the Packers before the postseason.
We know we got to come out and play our best ball, and everybody's got to be locked in and play the best game they've played all season. So there's no secret, we're going to have to find ways to win these games on the road.
Afternoon basketball for the Bucks taking on the Pacers in Indianapolis. Coverage begins at 1:30 on WTMJ. Giannis questionable with an illness. And in college basketball, 8th-ranked Marquette visits Providence for a 5 o'clock tip. Hear that game on 94.5 ESPN.
Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ. Johnson & Sons paving time-saver traffic. All of our crashes have cleared, disabled vehicles as well, but I do see significant slowing starting right now on I-43 in the downtown Milwaukee area. It starts around Highland Avenue and goes all the way, honestly, goes all the way to the interchange there, and it takes a peek at 794 as well. So just a heads up here. If you are on I-43 and you're starting to see a slowdown, we are seeing that. As I talk, it's turning to yellow, so hopefully that clears soon. Possibly the remnants of an earlier crash.
Traffic is sponsored by Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee. Design Exchange is where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at 25 to 40% off retail prices in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Well, some flurries today, maybe a little rain mixed in as well. A high of 40 degrees. Cloudy and flurries tonight with a low of 27. Cloudy with flurries early on Wednesday, a high of 31, a high of just 30 degrees on Thursday. 35 with some light rain and snow falling in Milwaukee at 12:09.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
I feel like in the course of celebrating New Year's in my lifetime, I've done just about everything. I've done like a concert. I've done the Globetrotters. I've done pay whatever $60 and have an all-you-can-eat buffet, and there's just some sort of gathering, right, with food and drinks and stuff. I've done parties at friends' houses. We've hosted parties. I've done just about everything, I feel like, on New Year's.
Have you ever been to a spot where they had a balloon drop and the balloons did not drop as anticipated?
No. That would be devastating.
It happened once here in Milwaukee. Everybody's waiting. I had my camera out, and you're waiting, and then it's midnight, and everybody's cheering, and the balloons didn't drop.
See, and people wonder why the person who did that at the RNC is so coveted. Right. If you're going to do it, you got to do it right? Yeah. You get the right people, and you'll have a successful balloon drop.
Yeah, I mean, they eventually came down, but they came down kind of slowly and in waves, and it just wasn't the same. It was amusing, though.
Well,
I'll never forget it.
New Year's Eve 2024, hurtling toward 2025, already January 1st in parts of the world. Some big stories that we're following as we flip to the noon hour. It's 12:10.
It's now at noon on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Ringing in the new year at home instead of a bar or hotel? Well, join the club. Here's ABC's Jim Ryan.
To see ball drop video from Times Square, you'd think that everyone celebrates the arrival of the new year like that. But a new AP North Center poll finds that a majority of U.S. adults intend to spend this evening at home. About 2 in 10 will celebrate at a friend or family member's house, and only 5% plan to go to an organized event, a restaurant, or a bar. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Meanwhile, security is tight in New York City for the thousands who will watch the ball drop in Times Square. Big sanitation trucks filled with sand are already out blocking intersections to prevent an attack. Thousands of police officers are on duty, both in uniform and in plain clothes. There is not a manhole that isn't sealed, no trash cans in sight. Spectators will go through security checkpoints to watch the ball drop.
Number 2, 2025 could include a third straight year of gas price declines. Gas Buddy projecting the average will drop to about $3.22 per gallon from this year's national average of $3.33. All sorts of different factors go into it. Head of Petroleum Analysis Patrick DeHaan says the new administration will also likely change policies that could impact prices.
There may be some level of deregulation that occurs. Reducing the amount of regulation on the oil and gas sector may help to incentivize additional production, but it doesn't come without risks.
Every year has some uncertainties as well that could impact prices, potential tariffs, global conflicts, extreme weather, certainly all events that could influence the prices, but they're down right now and potentially going down even more.
Yeah, we like that outlook. Well, a New Year's Eve health alert from the CDC. It's not just here in Wisconsin. Colds, flu, COVID, and RSV cases are on the rise across the country. ABC's Ika Jachi.
Experts say these cases are expected to continue to rise in the coming weeks. So far, there have been at least 37,000 hospitalizations for the flu and 1,500 deaths. ER visits and hospitalizations are increasing due to RSV as well, particularly in young children.
Health officials say vaccines provide the best protection against respiratory illness, and it is not too late to get one.
12-12 on WTMJ. It's kind of a big week for the Packers. They wind up the regular season against the Bears. Kind of big because they need a win and a Washington loss to move up in the NFC playoff picture seeding. Right now, they're the number 7 seed, which means a lot of road games in store for the Packers so long as they're playing in the postseason. We'll get the latest on the Packers from Green Bay. ESPN Wisconsin's Jason Wilde joins us after this.
While we're counting down to the end of 2024, we can also give a countdown for the Pacers, too.
I once got Happy New Year in March.
Because the ball on their season has already dropped. The Bucks ring in the new year against the Pacers.
A little stutter step, backs up, fires up on 3, bullseye. Damian Lillard's on a 6-0 run.
Our Bucks radio game day coverage starts today at 1:30. We are the home of the Bucks. WTMJ.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Patrick and Monica initially chose a bank to get pre-approved and provide financing for the purchase of their first home. But they were getting a bad feeling when a week after their offer was accepted, the bank still hadn't locked in their rate, nor had the appraisal been ordered. Monica shared her concerns with a friend who happened to be a multi-time AccuNet client. That led to Monica connecting with one of our senior loan consultants the same day, and after gathering some information and reviewing options, we locked in their rate right then and there with loan cost $3,600 lower than what the bank had quoted. The appraisal was ordered right away too, and the loan closed on time just 3 weeks later. We also noticed an oversight in the contract that led to a $3,000 credit from the seller. You can get a generic pre-approval and average or worse service from a bank, or you can get the kind of fast service, advice, attention to detail, and savings that made Monica and Patrick AccuNet's latest raving fans. All you got to do to get started is click on the blue button at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
This is Jeff Johnson.
And I'm Jason Johnson.
And together, we're part of Johnson & Sons Paving.
Get your parking lot ready now for spring and avoid paying for extra repairs later on.
We'll come out to your property and walk it with you.
Potholes, damaged asphalt, damaged concrete, standing water, you name it. We'll talk to you about your options and fix it.
Plan a budget, set up an overall schedule with Johnson & Sons Paving.
It's all about doing it right the first time. Call us today to schedule a walkthrough and free estimate.
JohnsonandSonsPaving.com.
It's time for Flanner's Home Entertainment Football Fix with Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
The teams ahead of them in the standings, the Packers are 0-5. Like, that's the part where you start to feel a little flat.
That hurts a little bit. Yeah.
But they're okay. They're pretty good.
Here on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget
Time for our weekly football fix presented by Flanner's Home Entertainment. Sound advice at the best price. Just press play. Matt LaFleur, we going to see Jair Alexander on the field before the season ends?
Yeah, I don't know. As soon as I know, I'll let you guys know.
Like a difference of opinion between what he thinks his health is and what you guys think it is?
Yeah, I can't really get into all that. I do know that he's been dealing with swelling, and he doesn't feel right to go out there and play.
So that's head coach Matt LaFleur yesterday, because it's been kind of peculiar, Jessica. He's a very talented player. He has not played much in the last 2 seasons because of injuries, but when the coach says what he says, you start to wonder, well, what's really going on here? Because the guy will practice throughout the course of a week, but then be downgraded as the week goes on and then ultimately out for game day.
Earlier this week in my notes, I legit wrote, what's the deal with Jair?
Yeah, no, it's a big question because the Packers were a little beat up going into that game against Minnesota. But I can't help but think that Christian Watson is doing everything possible to get back onto the field to get passes thrown his direction from Jordan Love. I don't know about Jair Alexander. It's a very peculiar situation, and that's why we have Jason Wilde. Jason, happy New Year's Eve. Welcome to the program. ESPN's Wilde and Tausch, 9 to noon on ESPN Wisconsin.
Yeah, you know what Wilde and Tausch needs? It needs Gina. The music that she chooses every week when I join you, the bare necessities with the Bears. She should hold some sort of a workshop at GKB to get other producers on the same page of having timely music during Packers weeks, because she's crushing it.
It's next level. We always find it to be next level. And we're always kept in the dark, by the way. We have no idea what is going to appear in the open before we bring you in.
Well, that's good planning by you, since you're the captain of the ship.
I like to have the surprise.
I love his suggestion, though, because I thought you were going to say you want to steal her away, and you cannot steal our Gina. So I like your suggestion about the workshop. She's smiling.
Yeah, I mean, we as much as I want to get rid of Jesse, we're not getting rid of him. So, Gina, keep up the great work. You're doing a better job than we are of getting to the bottom of the Jair Alexander saga, although I thought our buddy Rob Domofsky from ESPN yesterday did the best job so far in terms of getting Matt LaFleur to give us some kernel of information after Matt LaFleur's initial answer, as you just heard, was, when I know, as soon as I know, I'll let you guys know. Well, he did go a little further, and I thought Rob's choice of questions was really smart to say, is there a difference of opinion? Because that's what we've all kind of been wondering. Is it the team thinks the guy can play and the player does not? And I thought that Matt LaFleur, without saying it, said it, right? I know he's dealing with some swelling, and it makes him feel like he can't go. That I thought was a very interesting choice of words, because that makes it clear that, at least according to Matt LaFleur, it's Jair Alexander saying, I'm not ready yet. It's not the medical staff saying, your knee is not at the point where we will allow you to play. And that is a very important distinction.
Yeah, very interesting to note. So what's on the line with this game come Sunday against the Bears, noon game up at Lambeau?
Most likely nothing. So here's basically the playoff picture. Right now, if the season ended right now during this program, the Packers would be the number 7 seed in the NFC, the same seed that they were last year when they got in on the last day of the season, if you recall. And they would have to go on the road to face the number 2 seed, which is locked in as the Philadelphia Eagles. So that would be their road if the season ended today. Now, what can change on Sunday? If the Packers win and the Washington Commanders go to Arlington, Texas, and lose to the fighting Mike McCarthy-led Dallas Cowboys, who are out of playoff contention and are running out of players, if somehow Mike McCarthy's team beats the Commanders and the Packers beat the Bears, the Packers would move up to the number 6 seed, and that would mean they could avoid the Eagles in the opening round. They would face either the Los Angeles Rams, who are going to win the NFC West, or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are most likely but have not locked up yet, the NFC South. The reason why this is important, the NFL is not a playoff bracket per se. So it depends who wins the first weekend to decide who plays whom the second weekend. So what I'm telling you is if the Packers win and so do the Commanders and they're stuck as the 7th seed, they not only would have to go to Philadelphia and beat the Eagles to advance on the road, they would also then, because they would be the guaranteed being the lowest seed remaining as the 7th and final seed, that would mean they would then play the following week against the number 1 seed, whether that's Detroit or whether that's Minnesota. They'll be playing for that right in their finale on Sunday night. Whichever one of those teams emerges as the number 1 seed, the Packers would then go on the road to play them, coming off a bye. So their playoff road, if they are the 7th seed, is the number 2 seed, then the number 1 seed, and if they somehow can win both those games, then they'd be in the NFC Championship game. So that is not an ideal road. That's why Dan Quinn, the coach of the Washington Commanders, said, and I quote, "They're going to fight like hell to hold on to the number 6 seed."
Well, what better way to reverse a season-long narrative of not being able to beat the best teams in the NFC than have that path laid out in front of you? I wonder internally, Jason, if it matters, right? Because we've noted they're 0-5. Matt LaFleur knows it. Jordan Love knows it. The national media knows it. Everybody knows it. They have not beaten the NFC's elite. They've been close, but they have not beaten those teams. How much does that matter internally? Like, is there any shred of confidence that is lost if this team has to go to Philadelphia because they just weren't able to beat them in Brazil, or they weren't able to beat Minnesota or Detroit?
I don't know about whether it would damage their confidence. I do know this. When this was brought up yesterday to LaFleur by Bill Huber from Sports Illustrated, LaFleur took exception to the way Bill framed it of saying you haven't beaten the teams ahead of you in the standings, or you haven't won the big games. And, you know, he tried to say that they're all big games. They're not, Matt. They just aren't. Beating the Tennessee Titans on the road was a big win because you did it with Malik Willis at quarterback. But the Titans are terrible, right? I mean, there are different levels of games. And the ones where you had a chance to prove to everyone else, and including to yourself, that you are among the elite, you lost them all. 2 to the Vikings, 2 to the Lions, the opener in Brazil to the Eagles. So, you know, I'm not a psychologist. I can't speak to whether or not that's weighing on these guys. You would like to think they can brush that all under the rug and say, hey, new game, any given Sunday, et cetera, et cetera. But the fact of the matter is that they have not proven it. And I thought Xavier McKinney up in Minneapolis when I was up there on Sunday put it best. Someone asked him, Tim Van Voren from Fox 6 asked him, do you think that you are in the same class as the Eagles, the Lions, and the Vikings? And McKinney was very honest. He said, I want to say yeah, but I can't because we haven't beaten any of those teams. And so they may get that opportunity, and what a storyline. You know I love the storylines, Greg. It would be a remarkable story if somehow the Packers' playoff road was Philly, the Vikings, or the Lions, and then whichever other NFC North team is in the other half of the bracket, per se, if they beat the Lions, the Vikings, and the Eagles all on the way to the Super Bowl. I don't see that happening, but it would be one heck of a story.
The Lions, the Vikings, the Bears. Oh, my. That's not how it goes.
Well, it could. That would be the headline, right? That would be the headline. And then likely
I'm totally stealing that. With no credit whatsoever, by the way, Jessica. I'm sorry. I'm not going to even give you credit for it. I'm just stealing it flat out.
Hey, Jason, I also want to ask you, there was a lot of chatter this week about Matt LaFleur on the sidelines, and is he too animated? I kind of like his animation, to be honest, but a lot of people are saying, no, we'd kind of like to just look over and feel like he's composed and knows exactly what he's doing. Where do you stand along those lines?
Yeah, I think he's definitely been more emotional, more tightly wound, it feels like, this season than past years. There's been other times where he showed emotion, obviously, but I thought it was brought into particularly sharp relief on Sunday because Kevin O'Connell, who has followed a similar career arc, was the quarterbacks coach in Washington years after Matt LaFleur was the offensive coordinator with the Rams years after LaFleur was. Both of them run similar style of offenses. But Kevin O'Connell's personality has been very different, and I thought it was demonstrated he's just always calm on the sideline. And LaFleur kind of was apoplectic at points on Sunday. I don't think that's good. I would rely on Tausch more than me. And he said that players want guys that are calm and in control. There are moments where it's okay to show that emotion, but you're leading a team. You got to have things in check, and you can't do things like the emotions that he shows. And so I do think it's a fair criticism. As I told Greg last night when he and Gary Ellerson were doing the Potawatomi football show, I don't want to ask these questions at a press conference, but I would like to talk to Matt LaFleur privately, one-on-one for a story and ask him that, because I don't want to put him on the spot with all the TV cameras. I'd be curious if he would acknowledge that maybe his emotions have gotten the better of him a few times this season.
Interesting. I do like the player's perspective. That's important to note.
Definitely. No doubt about it.
Tausch's a smart guy. We should listen to him every time we can.
Well, we certainly do. It's Wilde and Tausch, 9 to noon, weekdays on ESPN Wisconsin. No show tomorrow, I presume, Jason. Do you have New Year's plans? What's the Wilde's New Year's Eve plans tonight?
I'm going to try to make it till 11 o'clock to see the ball drop on television. No more overrated holiday in my estimation than New Year's, personally. Maybe Flag Day, maybe Arbor Day. But I would say this. Tomorrow's a Wednesday for the Packers. They have a game they need to win, if not for playoff positioning, just to feel better than they do coming out of that game in Minnesota.
True.
So they're going to have a regular work day. I'm curious if they start a little bit later because guys might be out and about tonight for New Year's, but they're going to have a regular Wednesday, and they got to go back to work. So I'll be working as well.
Jason, thankful to have you a part of this program each and every week. We will check in again next week. Enjoy ringing in the new year with the family, and we'll check in again soon.
Happy New Year.
All right, everybody. Happy New Year. Take care. Be good.
You do the same. It's 12:27 on WTMJ. News is coming up.
Do you know how much money in your 401k or IRA is actually yours? Or will the government take a bigger chunk than you thought? Remember, you might still owe taxes on that money. I'm Tony Drake from Drake & Associates, and I believe it's your money and you deserve to know what's at stake. At Drake & Associates, we believe you deserve to keep more of what you earned. That's why we're here to help you navigate the confusing world of retirement taxes. We'd like to offer you our free Retirement Ready Toolkit. Right now, taxes are historically low, but they won't be this low forever. So text TAX to 414-409-9982 today to get your complimentary toolkit. That's TAX to 414-409-9982. You work hard for your money, and we'll work hard for you.
Drake & Associates is an independent investment advisory firm that offers different investment vehicles. All insurance products are backed by the issuing insurance company. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only.
Hey, this is Steve Scafidi for Advent. I had some snoring issues that kept my wife up at night. That led to poor sleep and a lot of tired mornings on the radio, and nobody wants that, trust me. But it's simply, my nose wasn't working the way it should. I decided to go to Advent for a quick 30-minute visit, one of their great facilities, talk to a bunch of their doctors. They really put me at ease. After a really simple sleep study at home, in my own bed, they determined the root cause of my problem had to do with my sinuses and nasal passages in my breathing triangle. I didn't even know I had a breathing triangle until I went to see Advent. After a short procedure done in office, I'm back to breathing well, and my wife and I are both back to sleeping through the whole night. The best sleep we've ever had, that could be you. If you struggle with restless nights like I did, take the time to see how Advent can help. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your life and your nights a whole lot better, go to AdventKnows.com, schedule an appointment today. Because Advent knows, when you breathe well, you live better.
So how do you underpromise and still get the job? We believe in our hearts we're going to do great work for you. We're just really careful about making unrealistic promises. At Semperfi, we refuse to set the bar higher than we can jump. But be assured, that's the goal. To do all we can to jump as high as possible to try to exceed your expectations. We're looking to break records. That's how you win over customers, get really great referrals, and build a great business. When you're making a decision to hire an exterior remodeling company, character, integrity, and the feeling that the people you're about to hire are truly eager to show you how good they are should stand at the top of your list. This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior modeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Hey, it's New Year's Eve. Celebrate with your kids and grandkids at the family-friendly Mine Shaft restaurant in Hartford. WTMJ's John Merck here. I assure you, you will not spend a lot of money today at the Mine Shaft. The authentic New Year's Eve Mexican buffet is all you can eat, just $9.99. That's crazy. Kids 5 and under eat free from the kids menu, and those older kids, their menu starts at just $3.99. Your kids will love so much fun in that $2 million game room, quietly set aside from the dining area. They play, you enjoy an after-dinner drink. Enjoy a huge 18-inch pizza, a pitcher of beer or soda, and 100 game room tokens for under $45. And that pizza easily feeds a family of 4, and I love the Mine Shaft pizza. The game room opens at 12 noon, so come early and hang out all day. Celebrate New Year's Eve today with your kids at the family-owned Mine Shaft restaurant in beautiful downtown Hartford and near the EAA in Oshkosh. Just walk on in. It's the Mine Shaft.
12:31, I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News. It's Tuesday, December 31st. Your top story, a blackout across Puerto Rico.
I'm Jessica Ty, watching the roads on New Year's Eve.
Light wintry mix today, cloudy and a high of 40. Cloudy and flurries tonight, a low of 27. 31 your high on Wednesday. It's 35 with light rain and snow falling in Milwaukee at 12:31. For the WTMJ Breaking Newsroom, as the world continues to welcome in 2025, nearly all of Puerto Rico will welcome in the new year in the dark after a power outage hit nearly the entire island.
An island-wide blackout plunging Puerto Rico into darkness on New Year's Eve, leaving 90% of customers, some 1.3 million, without power. The utility that runs the grid blaming the outage on a failed underground power line and says repairs could take a couple of days. It's just another frustration for Puerto Rico's residents, already familiar with frequent outages due to an outdated power grid that's still reeling from Hurricane Maria in 2017. Dave Packer, ABC News.
A teenager is dead and another is in custody after a multi-vehicle crash in Waukesha. The crash happened at Sunset Drive and Guthrie Road on Monday. Investigators say a 17-year-old was killed when a 19-year-old ran a stop sign driving at a high speed. The teen victim was flown to a local hospital but died. The driver was taken into custody after showing signs of intoxication. Other people involved in the crash were treated for non-life-threatening injuries.
Law enforcement will no doubt be busy this evening monitoring for drunk drivers. La Crosse, Wisconsin Police Sergeant Brooke Pataska says calls to police department spiked during the holidays, particularly on New Year's Eve.
Most of them are going to be alcohol-related, so that could be like a trouble with party-type call to people disagreeing. It could be, there could be some fights that way. Also, OWIs, people driving while intoxicated, or crashes.
Drunk driving accounts for 31% of traffic deaths annually. The figure rises to nearly 40% during the holiday season, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Isn't it awesome that Wisconsin has so many unique New Year's Eve events? Well, one of the most unusual just ran its course.
Nowhere have they New Year's Eve dropping of the carp except Prairie du Chien.
For years, Prairie du Chien's annual carp drop would frequently take the cake as the most odd way to ring in the new year. But Mayor Dave Hemmel tells WTMJ low turnout and an aging organizing committee led to the end of the event's run 3 years ago.
The people that were doing it, they just, no other way to say it, they got old and just couldn't do it anymore.
If you are looking for a Wisconsin twist to New Year's Eve, the Plymouth Cheese Drop and Door County Cherry Drop in Sister Bay are on for this evening. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Tough getting old.
Well, what would the carp fall into?
Can't drop the carp anymore.
No, jeez.
Oh, jeez.
God dang.
Oh, man, up there.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Siding at Limited WTMJ News Times, 12:34.
Who doesn't need a seasonal wardrobe update? But who has the cash to always keep their wardrobe updated? Ladies, that's why you shop St. Vincent de Paul. Our women's clothing is always a highlight of our stores, and thrift store prices keep the costs low. It allows you to experiment and also find a hidden gem. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Just
Just like most cars and trucks can't run without oil, no person can function without food. That's why through March 1st, the Auto Dealers of Metro Milwaukee is contributing $1 from every oil change to Feeding America, Eastern Wisconsin. Every dollar provides 3 healthy meals. Over the past 14 years, Adam has provided more than 2.6 million meals to people in southeast Wisconsin. And now the need is greater than ever. Find a participating Adam dealer near you at adamm.com.
Start the new year right with Norwalk Furniture on sale now at Ken Michaels Furniture. Save 35% on showroom pieces that are ready for immediate delivery, or in just 35 days, you can create a look that reflects your unique style with over 850 fabric and leather options and comfort levels, from cuddling to extra firm support. Norwalk Furniture's American roots go back over 102 years. For better quality American-made upholstery, shop the Norwalk Upholstery Sale at any Ken Michaels Furniture locations in Greenfield, Brookfield, or downtown. Better days start with a better night's sleep on a mattress from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in Milwaukee, our mattresses are custom built to your needs. We have all the comfort and firmness options to give you your best night's rest. Buying direct from our factory showrooms will save you up to 50% compared to national brands. Shop today during our New Year's sale at Ken Michaels Furniture for over 75 years of uncompromising quality, local factory direct saving, and your best night's sleep.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports desk. The Packers 9-point favorites for Sunday's regular season finale against the Bears at Lambeau. Final tune-up before the postseason. Quarterback Jordan Love.
We know we got to come out and play our best ball, and everybody's got to be locked in and play the best game they've played all season. So there's no secret, we're going to have to find ways to win these games on the road.
Afternoon basketball for the Bucks taking on the Pacers today in Indianapolis. Coverage gets underway at 1:30 on WTMJ. Giannis questionable with an illness. College basketball tonight. It's 8th-ranked Marquette visiting Providence for a 5 o'clock tip. You can hear that game on 94.5 ESPN.
Greg, some breaking news just in from our buddy Eric Name over at The Athletic. He says Bucks coach Doc Rivers just told reporters that Giannis Antetokounmpo will play today versus
There we go.
the Pacers.
He's back. 4 games missed due to illness.
He's got that illness. It was sweeping through the Bucks locker room and feels like it's been sweeping through southeastern Wisconsin.
Couple of kids in the house, right? I mean, who knows how sick that household was.
Oh, man. So that's good to hear. Giannis back in. We like that. All right, let's get you an update on the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time-saver traffic. All of our accidents have cleared. The slowdown that we had on 43, that has also cleared. The only thing we have going on right now is I-94 East at the ramp from County T. The right shoulder is blocked due to a disabled vehicle. That's out in the Waukesha area, just right past Waukesha County Airport.
Wintry mix going to fall today. Nothing too significant in terms of accumulation or disruptions. Just kind of nasty out. High of 40 degrees, overnight low of 31. Tomorrow's high about 31 degrees. We cool off into the 20s on Thursday and Friday. 34 degrees and cloudy in Milwaukee at 12:38. Our final 2024 check-in with CBS congressional correspondent Scott McFarland, who joins us weekly here on Wisconsin's Midday News. Happy New Year, Scott.
Can we finally stump him?
Oh, I doubt that.
Oh, no. That is from 1990. That's Troop and Spread My Wings. And Troop, though young at the time, went silent for a while and is performing again, and that's their keynote song.
Oh, wow. I will be honest, this is the first one I didn't know.
I didn't know this
I
either.
don't know all the facts behind it like you do, Scott. It still boggles my mind. It amazes me how good you are at all this, but I can usually sing the lyrics. This one, not so much.
I want to reinforce a second time. My wife is so grateful that somebody else willing to listen to my unsolicited knowledge of 90s R&B besides her. She's happy to pawn that off on you.
And we thoroughly enjoy it. It's fantastic.
If it was a Jeopardy category, Scott, you would crush, no doubt about that. It just kind of broad-based here. What's going on in Capitol Hill today? Do things sort of shut down at this time, right? Big New Year's parties happening somewhere on the South Lawn or something?
It's actually a really pivotal time nobody knows about, so I'm glad you asked that. They truly are moving people out of offices and into new ones, because Thursday is the final day of this Congress, and Friday is the first day of the next Congress. So you have dozens of people truly moving out, closing up their operations, shutting down their phones, shutting down their websites, shutting down their offices, And at a moment's notice, noon on Friday, a whole bunch of new people have to be ready to hit the ground running. So this is a transition week. And among those who are departing are some people whose names are not household names. But Jennifer Wexton of Virginia leaves office Thursday. She lost her voice with Parkinson's on steroids, as she characterizes it, was the first member of Congress in history a few months ago to use an AI voice on the House floor. She departs. And then there's Brad Wenstrup, Republican from Ohio, from Cincinnati. He leaves Thursday. He retired. He's the man who saved Steve Scalise on that ball field during the mass shooting in 2017. A lot of people who go under the radar who shouldn't, who are leaving, and then a whole bunch of new folks moving in on Friday.
Scott, I was also curious, are lawmakers in D.C. on edge over this surge in bomb threats targeting elected officials?
Yeah, that's a bipartisan problem. It's a bipartisan menace. There have been at least 50 so-called swattings or bomb threats in the past month. That's bonkers. It's more than one a day. Swattings are when somebody falsely calls 911 to claim there's some emergency at your house, to get the SWAT team to come to your house and perhaps have something bad happen when they arrive. But this has hit both parties in Congress in a volume that the Capitol Police say is unsustainable and that they're having to get their hands around. It's also maybe an incentive for a lot of folks to stand down from this job. Do you really want to put your family through the hellscape that is serving in public office right now?
CBS congressional correspondent Scott McFarland joining us on Wisconsin's Midday News. So a tough fight here for House Speaker Mike Johnson to retain the gavel, even after receiving that endorsement from Donald Trump late last week. What is happening behind the scenes here in advance of Friday's vote?
He's trying to shore up pretty much his entire Republican conference to vote for him, which is a Herculean feat to have everybody in the House Republican Conference do anything, including say the sky is blue, because he can only lose one vote in his party Friday and remain the speaker. That's how narrow the margin is in the U.S. House beginning January 3rd. They have one vote to spare and one vote to spare only. And if you give members of the House veto power, they tend to want to use it to make noise, to get attention, to get fundraising. So you're going to have a few folks in the course of the next 72 hours say, I'm not so sure about Mike Johnson. Maybe he wants to give me something so I can give him my vote. Oh, the leverage that everybody is wielding, and that's problematic for Mike Johnson, even though he just got the endorsement of Donald Trump. Donald Trump's endorsement is usually a silver bullet in the Republican Party, but boy, these House members are not used to having so much leverage and power, and they are wielding it.
So if Johnson is out, what happens next?
I'm not sure who gets 218 votes on the House floor, if not Mike Johnson. That's pretty much the argument he's bringing to his members, saying, if not me, who do you think could get unanimous support in this conference? Probably nobody, so you might as well stick with me, or else we risk detouring or derailing the Trump agenda when he comes into office 2.5 weeks later. That's going to be his argument. It's also one of the incentives for Donald Trump to back Mike Johnson. He doesn't need a protracted, prolonged fight inside his own party that destabilizes and neuters the U.S. House of Representatives. He wants to hit the ground running. He wants them all set and locked and loaded. So there is a mutual benefit to Trump and to Mike Johnson, to it being Mike Johnson Friday, but I wouldn't bet the rent payment on this going smoothly. I've watched the U.S. House for a quarter century. When you give them power, they tend to want to use it.
Scott, a lot of discussion about the H-1B visa program over the last several days. In a nutshell, it's an opportunity for highly skilled workers, foreigners, to come in and take jobs in America for companies that require their skills for advancement. Is there a true division here, dividing House Republicans and Trump supporters over the idea of an H-1B visa program?
Definitely. It's a wedge issue inside the Republican Party of 2024, the party of Donald Trump. HB1 visas help fill jobs with very specialized workers, difficult jobs to fill in some contexts, and those workers come from overseas, and they need the immigration enforcement to be here. But the problem for the Trump America First Brigade is that it seems like that program benefits international workers who maybe work for less money, for less protection in America, than American workers who are looking for jobs. That's not America First. That's other countries first. So there you have a wedge issue right there inside the Republican Party, where Elon Musk and others are saying this is critical to U.S. advancement, and you have some of the Trump acolytes saying, no, that's not America First. That's going to have to play itself out over the coming weeks and months as this immigration enforcement that Trump has promised takes effect. You can already feel the divisions forming, and that's what you're going to get. When you have an all-Republican Washington, the real drama here is going to be the divisions inside the Republican Party, how they quarrel with each other now that they control each lever of power.
Another timely topic right now, TikTok, TikTok here. You had Trump who was calling for a TikTok ban. Now he's backed off of that. What's the chatter in D.C. about all this?
Well, this is the Supreme Court's world now, and they're going to hear arguments in a couple of weeks, and it has to be in a couple of weeks because January 19th is potentially the date TikTok goes dark on our phones if they aren't sold by their China-based owner ByteDance, and TikTok says don't bank on that happening. That's impossible for them to sell so quickly such a lucrative and valuable company. They have made arguments to the courts that this thing should at least be paused until they can have further review by the Supreme Court and by others. Now, Donald Trump has got on board telling the Supreme Court, you should pause this because maybe I can find a solution when I come to office. Every expectation is there's some type of snooze button that's going to be hit here before January 19th, but nothing's certain, and it's hard to understate, it's hard to overstate the impact of TikTok going dark in America. It has more than 100 million users, some of whom, if you haven't noticed, are deeply devoted to using that app a lot. If it goes dark, the impact is real, and it will happen the day before the inauguration, which further muddies the political waters.
You know what the experts say about the snooze button, though? You're not supposed to hit it.
Yeah, no.
I don't like that.
Dangerous.
I'm flirting with danger every day, my friend.
Yeah.
Are you? You're a snooze button person?
You know what it was? It was 20 years of morning radio. Now that I'm not in it anymore, I'm luxuriating in the fact that I don't get up at 3:45 in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to rub salt in the wounds of any of your colleagues, but there's a different life.
That was a former life for Jessica. We really like middays here, Scott. Come join the team.
17 years of early morning TV. Oh, yeah.
She knows all about it. I only
so
had,
easy to hit.
I only had like 3 or 4. So what is the McFarland plans here for New Year's? Have we given you enough time to hop into a helicopter to get to Times Square?
No, we did Times Square for the we were up in Times Square for the elections. That's where CBS had all of us deployed. So the kids got to see Times Square in November, and it scared the hell out of them. Like, what is all of this? What is all this noise and color? We're too little for this. And then if you go to Times Square, there's like Elmo and Minnie Mouse and Sonic the Hedgehog are all there to get pictures with you, and then you don't realize until it's too late as a dad. They also expect $20 from you after you take a picture with your kid. And Dad didn't have much cash in his wallet. Dad told the kids, we're not doing pictures with Elmo again. Lock that plan down.
It's like in Vegas, except it's the cowboy with the guitar and
the naked cowboy. Yeah, it's all in L.A. too. They should take Venmo now anyway, Scott.
So true.
I got to tell you, I wanted your thoughts before we run out of time. Are we locked and loaded with the Packers being a 7 seed? Are we okay with that concept? Because they may be the best team in the NFC.
All right. Well, a very complicated question here, Scott, because on one hand, you've got a Packers team that is 0-5 against the NFC's elite teams. And on that same hand, the Packers' path to the Super Bowl will require them, most likely, to beat each one of those teams they have lost to throughout the course of the regular season. So what we need in Washington is those who are on the side of the Commanders to convert and become Cowboys fans on Sunday. So at 1 o'clock, Packers can go about their business against an absolutely terrible franchise of the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
And maybe Dallas does the Packers a solid by knocking off Washington. Then maybe the 6th seed can be the Packers' saving grace. Can you help us out with this?
We agree with the entire premise, and don't sleep on the Cowboys. They just hate Washington so much. They're likely to rally and be motivated just to spoil it.
We'll take it. We'll take it. Any glimmer of hope going into the new year.
All right. I'm going to be there on Sunday in the stands, freezing my booty off.
There we go. Scott, you ever want to come to a game, you let us know. We'll hook you up with a nice tailgate and have some fun.
Sounds good, guys.
Appreciate it, man. We're thankful, very much thankful for all your contributions throughout the program. We're looking forward to continuing that. And have a great New Year with the family.
Happy New Year.
Right back at you. Same to you.
You bet. It's 12:49. We'll call it here on WTMJ.
Why are you handcuffed to a briefcase?
To protect the secret specs for the mother of all penny mustard bedroom collections.
The Colonial Bedroom? Shh. It's no secret the Colonial Bedroom is gorgeous.
Never has there been a bedroom more carefully constructed and stylized than the Colonial Collection. And we need to tell the world.
You'd make a terrible spy.
The Colonial Bedroom, starting at just $248 a month with only 1 penny down and no interest till January of 2028 through January 12th at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Greg Mansick here for Flanner's Home Entertainment. What does your system need for an upgrade? Bigger picture, better sound, all of the above? Do you just need the right cables? Flanders can help you with that, too. Big or small, it's Flanders Home Entertainment. Locally owned Flanders have been doing it right for decades. Always a treat to go to the showroom. It was growing up. They had that showroom in Brookfield. In fact, they had a couple locations in Brookfield. Always loved going in there. My first speaker system, my first large television purchase, all at Flanders. One in high school, one after college. Flanders was always there, and they still are, for me and for you. Best prices, incredible products. They've got the stuff you need. They've got the fun stuff, the big stuff. They've got the right cables. They've got stocking stuffer kind of stuff. The right speakers for outdoor dining or maybe in-wall speakers. Flanders, trusted experts in the space, ready to work for you. Check out their showroom in West Dallas, Grafton, or anytime online at Flanders.com. Flanders Home Entertainment. It's sound advice at the best price. Just press play.
Get your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval to buy at ACCUNET.com.
If you're living with joint pain in your shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees, and you have Medicare or Medicaid insurance, coming to Rejuvenex to solve your pain problems is something you should strongly consider. First off, because our FDA-approved pain treatments have been shown in many cases to be highly effective at reducing inflammation and substantially alleviating pain. Secondly, Medicare and Medicaid cover Rejuvenex treatments, so your cost could be nothing, or next to nothing at all. Chronic pain will only worsen with age. This leads to a far more compromised lifestyle, depression, and soon they start talking surgery. And then what? You have to get in front of arthritis and chronic pain, because the sooner you do, by letting us begin to calm those pain points, the better. I'm Rejuvenex founder Richard Salinas, and we can alleviate your pain so you can rejuvenate your life.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to Rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
This holiday season, give the gift of a smile with Community Smiles Dental, a nonprofit dental clinic helping kids on state insurance in southeastern Wisconsin get the compassionate care they deserve. For just $55, you can cover a child's dental exam and care, a small price for a healthy smile and a stronger community. Donate to the Smiles for the Season campaign, sponsored by First Business Bank at communitysmiles.org. Everyone deserves a healthy smile. Make your gift today at communitysmiles.org.
Hey, Dan, another satisfied client.
Yeah?
Marlo just told me that having organized spaces has completely reset the tone of their household.
I bet they're easily finding what they need.
Yep, their shoes, their coats.
They can find their keys. They aren't tripping over toys.
Exactly, because everything has a place.
Changing lives one space at a time. Let us help you calm your chaos today at Inspired Closets. InspiredClosetsMilwaukee.com.
A wife and husband team.
Kind of a wet day today. A lot of clouds as well. At a high of 40 degrees. Overnight low of 31. Flurries tomorrow and a high of 30 degrees. Into the upper 20s by Thursday and Friday. So definitely cooling off here. 34 degrees and cloudy. In Milwaukee at 12:52. Well, that's about it for 2024 for us. We are signing off here. Our final show, of course, of the year. We dip into Bucks basketball. We've got tomorrow off. We rejoin you on Thursday, January 2nd. Officially, we will be in 2025.
Wow. It kind of gives me the goosebumps a little bit because we started Wisconsin's Midday News in 2024. So here we go into another year.
In 2024?
It was quite the year. Think of it. We started a brand new show.
Absolutely.
Think of all we've done. All the great characters we have talked to.
And you're going to hear a lot more of that. We do have a holiday special. So in this time slot tomorrow, Gina has done an incredible job piecing together some of our favorite moments throughout the last, 12 months or so. And there's some of the funny interviews that took a left turn when you thought it was going to go one way, it went another way. Some great characters that joined us. We had Thanasis Antetokounmpo. His first ever radio interview was with
shocked.
us.
Yeah. He said all of a sudden as we're sitting down, this is the first time I've ever done a radio interview. What? Okay. First of many to come.
So tomorrow between 11 and 1, you'll hear that. It's kind of a best of show. Think of it that way. If you're out and about, driving around, doing your thing on New Year's Day, tune us in, and it won't be a live version of us, but it'll be a recorded version of us and some of our favorite moments.
And we'll be back live for you on Thursday.
Are you big into resolutions at all? It's also that time of the year where you start honing in on stuff like that.
I never really have, to be honest. It's just not really my thing. I feel like if you want to do something, you just do it, and it doesn't matter if it's January 1st or if it's May 1st. And half the time, people don't follow them anyway, so it's just not been my thing. But
okay.
I'm sensing yes for you.
Well, I've tried to apply logic to the situation, right? You know, it's like I'm not here to give up smoking. I've never smoked a day in my life.
Same.
But several years ago, I made a resolution to have some sort of contact with all of my cousins. Right, so I've got cousins quite literally all over the world, from Tasmania to Melbourne, Australia.
That devil over there in Tasmania.
Exactly, to San Jose, to Minneapolis. Some are easier to see than others. So it started with an opportunity to see all my cousins in the States, which I did that year. Then I expanded it to my worldly relatives to make sure that we have some sort of regular contact.
I think that's awesome.
And last year we were blessed enough to see all of our cousins who live worldwide. We had a couple of trips from our Australian and Tasmanian relatives to Wisconsin. They stayed with us for about a week. So I'd like to keep that one going because I feel like my brother and I are now, we're in the phase where we need to keep it going. Right? When I was growing up, my parents kept that going. My older relatives who have passed on helped keep that relationship going. Well, now it's us. Yeah. Now it's my brother and me and our relatives who are of a similar age who now have kids who live in these different parts of the world. It's up to us to keep it going so that our kids do the same thing.
It's so true. I remember my grandma once telling me, and she's passed now for quite a few years, but my grandma Dennehy saying, I want to make sure that you guys all stay together. And I remember saying, because this was at a pool party at my mom's house, and we would get together. I mean, we'd do July birthdays, June birthdays, that sort of thing. So we got together quite a bit. And I remember thinking, well, why wouldn't we? But times change, families change, things change. And so you do have to make more of an effort to keep it going that way.
So I'm going to keep that one going with the help of my brother, and hopefully at one point, get a trip to Australia on the books.
There you go.
Yet to happen for us. I would love to be able to do that sometime down the road. From us to you, we wish you a happy new year. It's 12:56. We do have headlines coming up here, and then we get into Bucks basketball coverage. That's right. Afternoon basketball for the Bucks in Indianapolis against the Pacers.
Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year!
The Upswing is your place for commerce and community.
Are you seeing the customers expect maybe a different brand type in Green Bay than they do in Milwaukee?
Yeah, I think so.
Hosted by Jeff Sherman.
A little bit mid-tier price point people tend to gravitate towards in Green Bay. Of course, you have the high-end shopper up there, too. Definitely more towards the casual side of things.
Weekdays from 10 to 11 on WTMJ. Presented by Horicon Bank, the natural choice for all your banking needs.
This change has leveled us up while being able to maintain the same quality of service that we've always provided, with no upfront fees and 1.9% real estate commission. We're proud to be part of the Century 21 family, so you can move fearlessly with the added confidence of top-of-the-line marketing for maximum home exposure. And that means more eyeballs and the real potential for the highest price for your home. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. With the ability to market luxury homes on a higher scale than ever before, Century 21 Benefit Realty has taken a huge step forward to tap into a global network of buyers. Maximum exposure to spotlight your unique home with our fine homes and estates marketing so you can sell it for the highest price. And with no upfront fees and 1.9% real estate commission, you win. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Finding the special healthcare resources families need just got easier. Wisconsin Wayfinder Children's Resource Network helps kids with delays, disabilities, special healthcare needs, and mental health conditions. Call toll-free 877-947-2929. Ask questions. Get answers. Connect today toll-free 877-947-2929. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Tri-County Contracting. You want to know the price of a new roof on your home today? Well, it's easy. Just go to TriCountyContractingWI.com, click on the Instant Roof Quote button, put in your address and email, click the Show My Roof Price, and there you go. Zero wait time. There's your quote. You shop online for everything else. Who says you can't shop online for a new roof? Tri-County Contracting at WI.com. It's worry-free roofing, siding, and windows. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com.
Hi, I'm Tony Drake. Are you sure you're getting the most